That $5 can in your garage can quietly save you thousands on your Ford's repairs. Not by fixing everything, but by stopping the small problems that turn into big bills. The bolt that snaps off inside the engine. The wet ignition that strands you. Used right, WD-40 kills those for pennies. Today I'll show you 6 tricks that save you money, and the places you should never spray it. Trick number 1, free a seized bolt or a rusted lug nut before it snaps. This is the big one because a broken bolt is how a free job becomes a $400 job. When a fastener is rusted solid, spray WD-40 right at the threads where the bolt enters the metal. Then walk away and let it soak. 10 minutes minimum, longer for heavy rust, so it can creep down into the threads and break the corrosion's grip. Then, before you turn it, tap the bolt head firmly a few times with a wrench. That vibration travels down the threads and pulls the penetrant deeper into the rusted section. It's often the difference between a bolt that backs out clean and one that shears off flush. Here's why it works. Rust is porous, and the thin penetrant wicks into those microscopic gaps and breaks the bond between the threads. A shop charges real money to extract a snapped bolt, sometimes over $100 for a single one, plus the part, plus their time. You're spending 10 minutes and a few cents a spray to dodge all of that. And do this preventively too. The night before you tackle any rusty job, a brake job, a suspension part, go out and soak the bolts so they've had hours to penetrate before you even pick up a wrench. If it's truly welded with rust, a dedicated penetrant like PB Blaster or a little heat may beat it. But WD-40 is your first, easiest try, and most of the time it's enough. Use the little red straw for exhaust bolts, caliper bracket bolts, and rusty suspension hardware. That puts the spray exactly on the threads, not all over everything. And if the first soak doesn't free it, don't muscle it, spray again, and wait longer. Patience is free. A snapped stud buried in an aluminum head is a machine shop bill. That one soak can save you the drill and extract nightmare, the broken easy out, and the tow. Trick number 2, dry out a wet ignition and get yourself moving again. This is the water displacement the product is named for, and it can save you a tow bill on the spot. You hit a deep puddle or come out of a car wash, and suddenly your Ford stumbles, misfires, or throws a light. Water has crept into a connector or onto your ignition components, and it's shorting the spark. Pop the hood, aim a light spray at the damp connector or coil pack, and the WD-40 pushes the water out and restores the connection. People sit on the shoulder and pay $100 for a tow and a diagnosis. A 2-second spray fixes it right there. On older Fords, it's often the distributor cap and plug wires trapping moisture. On newer ones, it's the coil packs and their connectors, sitting right on top of the engine where spray and puddle water reach them. Unplug a suspect connector, give it one light shot, and reconnect it dry. You're not lubricating anything here, you're chasing the water out of the way of the spark. Give it a minute after you spray, then try to start it, because the water needs a moment to clear. And be honest with the result. If drying the connectors doesn't fix it, the misfire is something else, a failing coil or plug. No spray saves that, but when it really is just moisture, and after a car wash it often is, this gets you off the shoulder for free. Keep a can in the truck, and it pays for itself the first time a puddle kills your ignition on the way to work. Trick number 3, unstick a sticky door, tailgate, or fuel door latch. Notice I said the latch, the metal striker your door actually clamps onto, not the hinge. When that mechanism fills with grit and dries out, it starts to groan, stick, or refuse to catch. People get quoted for a whole new latch assembly, which can run well over $100 in parts and labor for what's usually just dried out grime. Before that, aim WD-40 straight into the moving metal of the latch. Then work it open and close several times so it flushes the old grime out and frees the parts. A tailgate that won't catch, a fuel door that sticks, a door that groans in the cold, all the same cheap fix. You'll find the latch on the door edge and the striker post on the door frame, both easy to reach with the door open. That cold weather groan you hear every winter is almost always this dry grit in the latch, not anything expensive. Wipe the excess so it doesn't collect dust, and a mechanism you thought was dying works like new for nothing. Trick number 4, win the war on winter locks and frozen seals. Cold country destroys the small stuff, and this trick heads it off before it costs you. Any moisture inside a lock cylinder freezes solid on the first hard night, and a door seal with water trapped along it can freeze to the frame, then tear when you pull the handle. A torn seal is a real bill, because WD-40 drives out water, A small shot into the lock cylinder in the fall pushes that moisture out before it can ice up. Insert the key and work it in and out a few times to spread it through the cylinder. Your key still turns in January. A light wipe along the seal helps keep water from pooling and freezing where it grabs. The reason locks freeze is simple. Condensation collects inside the cylinder, and once it's below freezing, that trapped water turns to ice and jams the pins. Drive the water out in the fall, and there's nothing left to freeze. The same treatment helps your tailgate handle, your trunk lock, and any exterior latch that seizes when it gets cold. One caution though, wipe the seal, don't drench it, because you want to displace water, not leave the rubber sitting in solvent all winter. Do this in the fall before the first freeze, not standing outside in January with a key that won't turn and a door that won't budge. Trick number 5, lift tar, sap, bug guts, and old sticker glue without scratching your paint. This one protects the most expensive surface on your truck, the finish. Road tar, dried bugs, tree sap, and the gummy residue under old badges are baked on and mildly acidic. Scrub at them and you drag grit across your clear coat, leaving swirl scratches you'll pay to polish out. Instead, mist a little WD-40 on the spot and let it dwell for a minute to dissolve the bond. Then wipe it away gently with a soft microfiber. No scrubbing. The gunk lifts off and the paint underneath is untouched. It works because it dissolves the oily, sticky bond holding that gunk on, which plain washing can't touch. For a fresh, healthy, clear coat, this is safe, but on old, oxidized, or already damaged paint, test a hidden spot first. One rule you cannot skip: wash that spot with soap and water afterward, because the oil that lifted the tar will hold dust and dull the shine if you leave it sitting on the finish. Lift it, wipe it, wash it, done. It works the same on baked-on bugs stuck to your glass and grill. It even lifts the adhesive left when you peel off an old parking permit or dealer sticker. Go easy on soft interior plastics and matte trim though. Keep this trick to glass, metal, and healthy painted panels where you can wash the residue off after. And always work on a cool panel in the shade, never hot paint in the sun, so the solvent has time to do its job before it flashes off. Trick number 6, stop surface rust and protect the bare metal that's quietly corroding. This is the corrosion protection WD-40 was actually invented for back in the 50s. Any bare exposed metal on your Ford is slowly rusting. An exposed bolt head, a bracket, your trailer hitch, the hardware in your bed, the tools riding back there. A quick wipe of WD-40 leaves a thin film that displaces moisture and stalls rust before it can bite in. It's not a permanent coating, so you redo it a couple of times a year, but stopping light surface rust early is what keeps it from spreading into the deep, seized, expensive kind. Now, the 3 places you must never spray it, because getting these wrong turns your free trick into a real repair. Hit the exposed bolt heads and brackets under the hood and around the bed, not the brake parts themselves. Reapply every few months through the winter. It's the cheapest rust insurance there is. On a truck that lives outside, catching rust while it's just a stain is what saves you from replacing seized, rotted parts later. Think about how rust actually costs you. It's never the surface stain that gets you. It's what that stain becomes. A rusted bolt you can't remove turns a simple repair into a cut-it-off job. A rusted bracket becomes a new bracket. Slowing that first stage down with a wipe of oil is how you keep small parts from graduating into big labor. For anything you actually take apart seasonally, like battery hold-downs or bed hardware, a wipe on reassembly means it'll come apart easily next time instead of fighting you. Now, the 3 places you must never spray it, because getting these wrong turns your free trick into a real repair. Warning number 1, and it's a safety one: never let WD-40 near your brakes. Not the rotors, not the pads, not the calipers. It's oil, and oil on a braking surface destroys your stopping power and can make the brakes grab or slip. If you ever get overspray on a rotor, clean it off with brake cleaner before you drive, and test the brakes gently. On this one, getting it wrong isn't about money, it's about whether you stop. Warning number 2, keep it off your rubber and never spray it on a serpentine belt or a suspension bushing to quiet a squeal. WD-40 softens and swells certain rubber and polyurethane over time. Soak a bushing and you wreck it. Spray a squealing belt and you can ruin it. And a belt that fails on the highway strands you and can overheat the engine. A squealing belt is telling you it needs to be inspected or replaced, not silenced. Spraying the noise away just hides a growing problem until it leaves you on the side of the road. Warning number 3, don't use it as a long-term lubricant and don't flood your electronics with it. On a hinge or any joint that carries load, WD-40 quiets the squeak for a day, then dries out and attracts grit that grinds the joint. Clean it and use white lithium grease instead. And on electronics, a light targeted shot to displace water is fine. But hosing down a sensor or a module invites dirt into delicate contacts and can cause the very fault you were chasing. With WD-40, precision beats volume every single time. So here's the honest picture. WD-40 saves you real money on the jobs it's built for. Freeing stuck fasteners, drying wet ignitions, unsticking latches, beating winter, cleaning paint safely, and holding off rust. Every one of those is a repair you didn't have to pay for. But respect the 3 lines, your brakes, your rubber, and anything that needs real grease. Do that, and a $5 can becomes one of the smartest tools in your garage instead of the reason you're back at the shop. If this saved you from a repair bill you didn't need, do me a favor and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me what you use your WD-40 on.